Okay, so I had a question by one of my viewers who said, can you make a video to show how I can take a photo and save it to the SD? And I finally got some time to do that. And so this is the XIAO S3 ESP32S3 Sense module. It comes with a little camera there. And it also has an SD card slot. So you can actually plug in one of these micro SD cards in there. I found one. Now the maximum size I think that it can take is 32 gigabytes, and all my cards are 64 gigabytes or larger, but I found an old one, 2 gigabytes, so that's what we're going to be using here. It does have the little antenna attached, but we won't be using that at this point, but I'm not going to take it off. I'm going to leave it there. And what I have done is the original, there is some code on the Seed Studio GitHub site, but it takes a picture every minute. But I wanted to be able to take a picture when you push a button. So I put in a little push button here. It looks kind of messy because it's got a long lead on it, but it works. I've got that connected to D0 and ground, and that's all we were using. So that'll be the shutter button. We can aim the camera at something and push the button and take a picture. And the picture should be stored on the SD card. Okay, so this is a little bit of a closer up view of the little module there with the camera and the heatsink that I have stuck to the bottom of it. And I actually soldered in these angled pins over here so that I can plug things into it, as you can see, because with that heatsink on the bottom you can't find pins long enough to plug into a breadboard, but nor do you really have to. You can just use it like this. So I found a GitHub site from Seed Studio which has a bunch of stuff for the XIAO ESP32 Sense camera. So if you go in there, you can actually click on this code thing and download it as a zip file. And as you can see, one of the folders in there is called Take Photos, and that's the one we're going to be using. But there are other demos there as well. And once you download that and unzip it, I stuck it in a folder on my machine, libraries and info, and you'll end up with a folder called Seed Studio XIAO ESP32 Sense Camera Main. And then you'll find that folder, Take Photos, and in there you'll find an INO file that you can open with the Arduino IDE. Could be modified to put it in platform IO. You would just rename that file here to main.cpp or something like that, and it should work just fine because the actual files that it needs are included in the actual ESP32 libraries, and there's a couple of header files here that I've created for it. But we've got it loaded up here in the actual Arduino IDE, and it has a couple of files here which are actually part of the expressive folders, I believe. Yeah, expressive systems. This is to access the SD card, which is kind of convenient because we won't have to write that code ourselves. And the FSH is a file system wrapper, so that it can actually save the files to the SD card. So that's what those two are about, and we're not going to enter those at great detail because there is information on those on the in different places, and this is supposed to be a simple video on how to take photographs. The camera index H file seems to have a bunch of hexadecimal code in there, and to be quite honest, I don't know exactly what that does. index OV2640 HTML GZ len. So without doing some research on it, I don't know what it does, but it calls that in and that works. So what the hey. And this one header file just has the camera pins and the actual camera. It deals with multiple cameras, I guess. The camera we're using is the model XIAO ESP32S3. So you should find that in there somewhere. Yep, there it is there. So these are the pins that it is using. And there is more information on that in the actual there is actually on the Seed Studio wiki, this information is actually discussed. Let's go to the top there. So if you are into it and you want to know more details, then you can go there. That's the module we're using and some information, how to put it together. You can get this OV5640 camera, but the one that they sent me, I ordered it, doesn't work very well. So I don't necessarily recommend this thing. It doesn't seem to add anything as far as I can tell. But in any case, so here they discuss, which pins are used for the camera. It's GPIO 10 and above. And it tells you to turn on this PSRAM, which we have done. PSRAM, you see, is OPI PSRAM. It normally defaults to disabled, so make sure that you turn that on if you do load this code. And then there's an overview of kind of what we were talking about here, the pins and so on. And they go in here and discuss some of the information here, the data structure, the camera frame buffer. So I would encourage you to have a look at that. Saves me having to read all that stuff because it is just as clear. This is the code that we are actually looking at in the Arduino IDE. The only difference is that they take one picture a minute and save it. And I wanted to do that with a button. It doesn't seem, very useful to take one picture a minute. Well, maybe there are some use cases for that, I don't know, but I just wanted it to so I actually made some changes to this code, very simple ones. The original code, I put these special comments on there, like /star. This is what it said before, this is what it says now, press a button, take a picture. I actually did a hash define for a button on D0, this is where I put it, because remember D10 onwards is used by the camera module. And so I changed this message, press the button to take a picture. Then the original code here, which actually looked for a 60-second delay and then took a picture, is being replaced with this line here. If digital read button equals low, in other words, the button is down, then it actually takes a picture and saves it. And of course, I commented that out because that's no longer appropriate for this version. And we don't need to know the last capture time. And I delay 1/3 of a second, just in case the little switch bounces. And we don't want to take multiple pictures. So it's a crude way to avoid a bouncing button. So I'm going to plug it in and I'm going to aim it at my desk over there and we'll take a picture. I'm plugging it in. Okay. It has, now I can never remember which way is up, so I'll take 2 pictures. And I'm going to push the button. I didn't press the button, but I wiggled the wire. I guess that's on there, so it's already taken one picture. But I'll push the button, and now I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to push the button again. Okay, so we've taken 3 pictures. I'm going to unplug it. I'm going to take the little SD card out, and I'll push it in this thing here, which allows me to stick it in my USB like that. And sure enough, there's 3 images there. This one is no good because, as I said, the little wire is a little bit loose and I jiggled it, and it somehow made a picture. So we can actually delete that one and get rid of it. It is a junk picture. This one is upside down, and this one is not upside down. So as you can see, it took 2 pictures, and they are on the file there. You can read them with your PC. As image 2 or image 1, 2, 3. It increments them. So that's a good starting point for making like a little camera, if you want to, or you could use the original code and make a picture every number of seconds or minutes or whatever you want to do, if it's like maybe a security thing or whatever. And that's pretty much it. So that wasn't too hard. The code was really already there, and I just made a few changes to make it work with this little button over here, and that's it. Works pretty good. So that'll do it. I'll see you guys later when we're doing something a little bit more serious, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will speak to you guys later.